Chapter 5, Andrew and Nikki's Friendship. The night was growing darker. Andrew, you are one of the most important people in my life. I love spending time with you, and I feel a deep connection to you that I've never felt with anyone else, Nikki said as she looked at him for a moment, her expression unreadable. Andrew's heart skipped a beat. Was she about to reciprocate his feelings? He held his breath as she continued speaking. But right now, I'm not ready for anything more than friendship. I hope you can understand that, she finished, a hint of sadness in her voice. Nikki's confession caught Andrew off guard. He had always suspected that there was something more between them, but he did not think that Nikki would turn down his love. Andrew felt a mix of disappointment and relief. He was glad that she was honest with him, but he couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness knowing that she didn't feel the same way. I understand, Nikki. I value our friendship more than anything, and I don't want to ruin that. I just had to tell you how I feel, he said, giving her a small smile. Nikki smiled back at him, her eyes full of affection. I'm so glad we can talk about anything with each other. You mean the world to me, Andrew, she said, reaching over to give him a hug. As they embraced, Andrew felt a sense of warmth and contentment wash over him. Even if they were just friends, he knew that their connection was something special. It was a beautiful night, and they had just finished celebrating Andrew's birthday. Andrew bid Nikki goodnight as he left her at the door of her house. As he walked back to his car, he couldn't shake off the sadness that had settled in his heart. He tried to keep his emotions in check as he drove home, but his mind was racing with questions. What did Nikki mean by not being ready for an intimate relationship? Was she trying to let him down gently? Did she see him only as a friend? He couldn't help but wonder if he had misread the signs all along. Over the next few days, Andrew couldn't help but think about Nikki's confession. He had always known that there was something special about their friendship, but he had never been able to put his finger on it. They just clicked in a way that he had never experienced with anyone else before. As he replayed their conversation over and over in his head, he began to realize that maybe this was just the beginning of something new. Maybe Nikki needed some time to figure things out, but that didn't mean that they couldn't explore their feelings for each other in other ways. Andrew decided to take things slow and not put any pressure on Nikki. He didn't want to risk losing her as a friend, but at the same time, he couldn't ignore the feelings that had started to grow inside of him. He began to think of ways to show Nikki how much she meant to him without making her feel uncomfortable. Flowers and chocolates for you, Andrew said anxiously, handing Nikki the gifts with lightly shaking hands. With a mixture of surprise and puzzlement in her tone, "What are these for?" she asked, giving him a curious look as she accepted the gifts from Andrew. "Only for you," he insisted with a smile, but hesitated to provide an explanation. He was unsure of how to express that it was a gesture of his deep admiration for her. Nikki's smile widened as she appreciates Andrew's gesture. She felt comfortable and safe around him, which was rare for her. As she watched him go out of his way to make her happy, she began to see him in a new light. Nikki took Andrew's gift towards her chest. "Thank you for being so thoughtful," she said, looking up at him with a smile. "You are my best of best friends." She squeezes his hand. Andrew's heart skipped a beat. He knew that he wanted more than just friendship with Nikki, but he also knew that he had to be patient. He squeezed her hand back and said, "I'll always be here for you, no matter what." As they sat and chatted, Andrew felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that their friendship was the foundation of something special, and he was willing to wait as long as it took for Nikki to realize it too.